Hello, everyone. Good evening. How are you all doing? I hope everyone's well. Welcome to the first live show of 2026. Is it too late to say Happy New Year? It's been a long time since the last live show. I had to fix all of the settings because I haven't been here. But how is everybody? How has everyone's off seasons been? Who's missing football? Who's still enjoying not having your heart broken? On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you sit? If 10 is you're missing it greatly and need football in your life again, and 1 is not, where are you all sitting? I think Brett was the first one here tonight. How are you doing, Brett? We'll get into it. We'll see if your Mac Guelphy makes the team. I wasn't in charge of the forwards, so we'll have to wait and see. Moby, how are you? Thank you so much. I just also want to give a shout out to the members. Thank you for every member. I appreciate all of you, but the members, thank you very much for the support. If you haven't filled out the contact form yet, please go to the post section on YouTube and do that so I can get your memento out to you in the next few weeks. Shaky Snake, how are you? Nice to meet you at training. Thanks for coming up to me and saying hi, introducing yourself. Hello, Josh. How are you? Gary, good to see you. Josh, you're hoping Archer May's in the forward line. Ooh, wait and see. Our mate Scooter was in charge of the forward line, so we shall see when our girl is bigger than me. Oh, I mean, definitely on the right side. Hello, Vicky. How are you? Hello, Andrew. We'll be joining as a subscriber in on the 1st of the 2nd. Andrew from Nidru. Hello, Andrew. How are you? Did I meet you at training? I think I did. Or maybe that wasn't Nidru. Anyway. Hello, Jonathan. How are you? Gagging for this collab? Yes. I thought we'd start on a high. I didn't want to just bring you me. I'm going big for the first live. Hello, Gwenda. Hope you're doing well. Not a lot has been said about Peter Wright. My inside knowledge is Redmond, Parish and Langford are all ready to get this season underway. Yes, I have been telling you people for years, 6 months here on YouTube, but for years how important Peter Wright is. I tell you for years that he is always the last one in the computer room watching Vision. And we watched, I don't know how many of you watched the YouTube show that the club put out, but you could hear Caddy say that Peter Wright is always in that room. Believe me when I tell you these things, my friends. Hey, hello, TL. How are you? Good to see you. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you're a lady or a man, but good to have you here. Hello, Craig. Hope you're well. Oh, Maz. Oh, miss you, Maz. I hope you're doing well. I hope you've been in a happy mood without the club breaking your heart, hey? This year's going to be different. Yes, Matt. Let's hope. An 11. Dave, you're in an 11. Moby, you're in an 11. The modern bloke, you're definitely missing footy. You're an 8. Yeah, Andrew's an 8. Shaky's an 8. Mars is an 11. Yeah, okay. Space Coyote's a 6 to a 7. All right, we're building. Vicky's at it. Yeah, everyone's itching. I knew they'd be itching. No, you're not quite there yet, Craig. All right, maybe this show will get you up. Oh, my absolute pleasure, Andy. Thank you for, oh no, don't lose money. But thank you for the kind words. Mr. Magic, keeping you company while you cut and laminate for school tomorrow. First day back or doing kids' books or what's that? Hello, Jackson. Good to have you here. Hello, Neo. Hello. How are you? Yes, so did I. Alrighty. Hey, Cal, Archer Day Wicks is coming for a forward half spot. Well, that's Felix's guy. So, although I think Felix is, at this point, he's driving the bus of many. I am driving the bus of only a couple. Felix has jumped on board many. And actually, Scooter has too. Okay, we all have our favourites. We're all driving many buses. I want to talk a little bit about, a bit before I bring on the guys, I want to talk a little bit about the Carlton footage that's floating around. If you've been living under a rock, you would have seen the fact that somebody, a Carlton fan, put out a clip of a Carlton training drill, and in it there was about 10 consecutive turnovers in an unpressured triangle type drill. And the world's gone crazy. The world's gone mad. Everyone's writing Carlton off. I'm a bit afraid that this is going to be the spark, and this is going to like knock them into shape. So I'm not doing that. But I just want to say, before we get as Essendon supporters gloaty, you all know that I have been to many training sessions this off-season. I reckon I'm up to about 20. I'm up about to 20. So I've seen a lot of training. And before we get gloaty about that Carlton footage, I just want to say that we are absolutely capable of exactly the same thing on any given day. Now, before you panic, the one thing that I will say was polar opposites from that footage to where we sit, and that is the energy. When I watched that clip, when I watched it, it sounded and it felt like a mausoleum. I thought I was in a cemetery watching men kick a ball. Essendon training is not like that. And the only way I can describe it is that it feels like our players are always on their toes, always like buzzing, ants in the pants, like drills, match sim. Even when they're missing unpressured kicks and missing targets, the energy is always upbeat. So there was a very big distinction in terms of the energy and intent and just general vibe. That was very low vibration. Our vibration is much, much higher. But I just want to say, to curb any enthusiasm or any kind of gloaty feels that you're all feeling watching that Carlton lovely clip, let's not lie, but I have seen that exact thing, 2, 3, 4 turnovers in a row, unpressured in a very similar drill. So just want to say it, but the energy is great, and that almost matters more. So, all right. Let me just get into, Muzz, thank you so much. Miss you, miss the chat. It's going to be a great year. Hopefully a few more fan cams after wins. That would be nice, just for my sanity, please. That would be lovely. Hey, Space Coyote, how are you? Have you been to many training sessions for other clubs? If so, how would you rate our skills compared to other clubs at this point? I haven't been to any in January. I'm hoping to get out to a third club, though, later or probably early Feb at this stage. I'm trying to tee up my availability with their training sessions. I have been asked to go to a specific club's one to suss them out. I'm sure you can all think a bit broadly and use your imaginations about which club that the club and people want me to go to. But anyway, I'm trying to tee it up. So I don't know as yet. I will say that, as I said, the last 2 clubs I went to, one was very much like us and the second was very much below us. Energy-wise, the frequency was probably where we were at. The Carlton one was below where we were at and the other 2 clubs. So that was really, really obvious. Really obvious. Andrew, Carlton supporters are beside themselves. Yeah, I've seen mixed. Some are losing their minds and are very, very distraught. And some are like, this is just clickbait. So we'll see. All right. I think it's time. You've had enough of me. It's time to bring in the reason why you're all here. I know, you don't have to lie to me. And that is for my 2 guests. We are in for a wonderful night. I've gone full loco on you all for some hypotheticals that I'm going to put to these guys. We're going to save that for the second half of the show when we're all going a bit loopy and we're all, transcending into crazy land, because they are quite loco. But without further ado, hello to my great friends, Scooter and Felix. How are you guys?
Hey, how are you?
I'll start with you, Scott. I've seen and spoken to you, of course, this year, but how has your off-season been? How ready are you for football? Where are you sitting and standing? How are you feeling? We love the shirt, of course. Peep the shirt.
Yeah, it's an exciting. It's always an exciting time of the year, probably pre-draft to this point to match sim, because you do get a bit of a false maybe we're turning a corner. I'm pretty buoyed. I've obviously gone through 3 main sessions myself. Really liked what I saw. Yep, like every other club. And I've watched a lot of footage on YouTube on other clubs' trainings. I feel like I watched one on the Swans, a deep dive into the Swans. A lot of missed targets. So I think I've calmed down a bit and going, okay, I've seen a few guys miss targets, but the energy, the commitment, the professionalism, what Innes and Regan have implemented at Essendon is the best draft pick at all. That's draft pick number 1, Matthew Innes, Regan, of what they've transformed at this club. So I think we're with a really good draft we just had, some really good youngsters, second youngest team, a professional program coming into place. I still have got very much a reality of where I think we may sit in 2026, and it might not, and I don't have us finals as yet, but I have a foundation that I'm a bit more hopeful on for a long time, of where I think things can actually start moving onwards and upwards.
Yeah, I share those sentiments. And whilst a lot of you hopefully are enjoying all the content and the reels on Facebook and Instagram and X, that they are very much highlight reels, and I am picking and choosing and cutting and cropping the best bits from them. So, and whilst the latest video and report from training was highly positive, I feel also very much with my feet on the ground. And I still, we'll talk about predictions maybe a bit later will come up, but I still am pretty realistic on where we sit. What about you, Felix? What are you giggling at?
Oh, I'm just loving Pommy in the chat.
Hello, Pommy.
Yeah.
Good. We should just add Pom. He's a pseudo Essendon supporter now. We should just add Pom to the rotation. But anyway, go on, Felix.
Sorry, where we sit as a club?
Yes. How are you feeling? How was your off season? Are you ready for the pain?
Ready for the pain. Yes, my off season was great. Had a little bit of a rest. And now, look, I'm pretty content with where we are too. To be honest, like I think we all know that we're probably not going to win the flag, and that's okay. I think I'm just keen to see the young guys go at it.
Yeah. I mean, nice, short and sharp, to the point, Felix. That's what we love about you. Yes, they are, Andrew. We are very lucky to have them in the community, and I am very lucky that they both agreed to this the ridiculousness. They don't know what's coming their way, but they've agreed to it because they agreed to be here, and therefore they've agreed and signed on the dotted line for any kind of loco-ness that comes their way. All right, should we get started, guys? Should we get started? Now, for those of you who don't know, we are getting round 1 ready in this show. We are doing the ridiculous, attempting to do the ridiculous, and we've sat on all the information from training, all my reports or others' reports, track watches. And then I've given the guys a line of footy line. Not the recreational activity, a football line to do. I gave Scooter the forwards, I gave Felix the midfield, and I took the defenders, because before any of you say that I gave myself the easy line, because it probably is the easiest to predict. There's a lot that goes into this, all right? Jeremy gifted 5 Bomber memberships. Bomber Banter memberships. Thank you, Jeremy. If you're one of the recipients, shout out, Jeremy. Lovely. Thank you, legend. All right, we're going to start. Now, apologies. I didn't realize that I'm going to share my screen and we're going to build a team. We're going to start with the forward line. I know we start with the backs, but you've had enough of me. So let's go straight to Scooter. Apologies. This is going to be quite small for some of you. I didn't realize it was going to be this condensed, but I have done up at the end. I've zoomed out and I've done a zoomed out view of it. So we'll look at it at the end all at once. Okay. All right. Now, Scooter. Now, can you guys see my mouse or no? No one can see my mouse, can they?
Okay.
No.
Okay. Let's start with the forward pocket. Let's start with the full forward. Who's your full forward? Scooter, you've been given the forward line to do. Who is that full forward position?
Yeah, and look, I think it's Fiona said it before, but really to reiterate, the discussion has been tactically playing Hawthorn round 1.
Yes.
So I think that's important to really put what we were thinking about, not a best 23 kind of view.
Yeah.
How do we beat the Hawthorn Football Club round one on players that are available?
Yeah, I actually didn't specify that, and I should have. Thank you. We have selected this team, A, in mind of form at training, B, potential position swaps at training so far and what we believe is going to be transferred to regular season, and 3, specifically to match up and beat Hawthorn. Nobody roll their eyes at me. We can't be negative in January, okay? So with that in mind, give us your full forward, Scooter.
Yeah, well, I've gone with Peter Wright. I think his form at training has been really, really solid. He looks like he's confident. He's marking the ball. He's leading strong. He's really fit. And also bear in mind, we're probably going to have an inexperienced ruckman in the team, and he will be able to provide that key support as the second ruck. So, I think he's had an underrated preseason. He's probably not talked about enough about how good his preseason is going. And I think when Peter Wright's in a good headspace, his body's fine, he's aggressive again. That usually comes with quite a lot of goals. So I'm pretty happy to have Peter Wright full forward.
Do you know why I think it's going underrated? Because Ben Mackay and Zach Reid have also had good preseasons and they've been playing on each other. So that is a wonderful sign when none of them are like sticking out over one or the other. They're all having good preseasons. So they're all beating each other. They're all winning against each other. So that's what I like. But I don't think any arguments can be there for anybody. I don't think that's one that's going to split the middle. Felix, what do you think?
No, that's you're completely right, and you need someone to kind of disrupt that key defensive line for Hawthorn, which is so strong. The only worry really would be their mobility, but guys like Barras and Battle, there, you got to threaten them in the air somehow, and the best way to do that is Peter Wright.
Yeah, agree. All right, let's move on. Who is one of your forward pockets, Scoot?
Now, I know a lot of people may think I'm going Kako here, but I've actually got Cole Langford next to Peter Wright. I think a lot of our forwards are going to play quite high naturally. So I think they're going to play Peter a bit deeper. So I've still got Cole Langford, but bear in mind, in the modern game, I don't really have him. I have him still playing quite high sometimes. So it's just a matter of who is structured at the half-back of with Hawthorn, a little bit of what tactically here. So Langford, again, is having a much better preseason. We're going to say this a lot, but touch wood, he's injury-free at the moment, having a good run at it. That usually means he gets more confident as the session goes by. I think the sessions I've been to, he's been really busy. Actually, he has been kicking the ball well to forward line sometimes. So I still think that's a bit of a strength of his, is how much he can set up. I remember a couple of years ago, he won our goal assists. So I still think that's an underrated part of his game. So Langford, for me, welcome back. Hopefully it's a 20-plus game kind of season, because he can kick you 40 goals if he does.
Yeah, all of a sudden, with everyone fit, you realise that it creates more headaches for the Hawthorn, back coach on who to match up against. And it's one less good defender that Caddy may get. And all these things combined help win games of football. So, all right, let's go. Who is taking the mantle on the other side of Peter Wright in the forward pocket, Scoop?
Now, I'm a little bit nervous because I'm trying to remember what I finalised this on. So,
oh, no.
So I feel like you may have to put the photo up because it's out of two players.
There's one who we think who we discussed, and we came to the conclusion. I don't know if you heard, but it's Brett's favourite player. We came to the conclusion that he may sit on Sicily, possibly.
Yes. Okay. So hopefully it's there, but Matt Guelphy, is that right?
That's correct. This is going swimmingly so far, just how I planned it, everyone. No, it is indeed Matt Guelphy.
It's not a good start when it's my forward line. They say, "Is that right?"
I gave you one job. One job.
So, reason why I've got Matt Guelphy is I probably didn't initially have him in my team, but the reason was, and I think when I had a look at the Hawthorn game, especially like round 1 last year against Hawthorn, and see Amon have 600 metres gained, 28 disposals, see Sicily have over 600 metres gained, 24 disposals. I think Amon from memory had almost like 10 score involvements from halfback. You've got Weddle. You've got several guys there that can Hardwick, Scrimshaw. So I feel like if there's ever a time I need defensive-minded forwards that can help us score, but really have jobs on and make sure they're accountable, because I don't think Guelphy played round 1 last year from memory, and it was kind of a bit of a loss for us. But I'll have to remember that. But so I've got Matt Guelphy for pretty much as a defensive kind of role to really try and limit how Hawthorn move the ball out of the halfback line. So, look, I know to some fans it won't be the ideal one, because I think for most of us in a best 23 view, we probably don't have him in the side. I just think for me, there may be some players in this team that may not be what we view as the best 23, but can they actually help us beat Hawthorn, the actual opponent we're playing? And I think him on an Amon or a Sicily to shut them down, shut their effectiveness, will go a long way, hopefully, to us winning the game.
Yeah, look, I'll get your take on this too, Felix, as well. But I think we can all agree, and there's people in the comments who are suggesting we're going badly, we're up shit creek if Guelphy's in the round 1 team. But the one thing that he actually does really well and had his best games whilst doing was against GWS, shutting down Lockie Whitfield, and Sicily in the past against Hawthorn. So, yes, that was a couple of years ago about Sicily, but he is a pretty good defensive small forward when he's fit and healthy. Does he give us enough? For mine, no. Does he, capitalise on enough of the ground ball? No. But for this specific role, when Sicily and Amon was so important to their win against us last year, what Scooter's done here is he's looked at the opponent. What's your take on this, Felix?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up that game against Sicily, because I was just going back to find the stats, because that was one of the games that I like, Guelphy's best games, and that was a couple of years after he was. Yeah, the Lockie Whitfield one was the best game I've ever seen him play. Agreed. But this game against Sicily, Guelphy shut him down to 11 touches, had 2 goals himself, 4 goal assists, which is crazy, by the way. 4 goal assists in a game. That is a rarity. Like it was a really good performance, and you don't see it all the time from Guelphy. But a big reason for that is because I feel like he's always coming back from injury or getting injured in games. A lot of the time he's only playing 11 or 12 games in a season, but like 4 or 5 of those games are either coming back from injury or like slow to come back after getting injured. At his best, the last time he played out pretty much a full season in 2022, he was top 3 in the Crichton. He was on the podium. Since then, he hasn't been able to get his body right. I think if he does get his body right, he's actually a genuinely really handy player in our team, and I think he's shown that. It's just about that, getting that consistency. Not just 4-quarter consistency, but being able to play week in, week out.
Yeah,
it's a funny one too. Oh, sorry, just quickly. When I went to round 1, you know how the AFL app has like a running commentary over the game, and they do a wrap up. Their wrap up basically says, "Here's the game. James Sicily recorded an equal high 10 rebound 50s with 5 score involvements, 620 metres gained, 7 marks, 24 disposals at 92% efficiency, while Carlton recorded team high 28 disposals, 93% efficiency, and 640 metres gained. That's the game." That's it. Yeah. So that's what happened, and that's what you have to, I think if you put a coaching hat on, you go, well, what's their strength? What does Mitchell like to do? He wants to move aggressively from half back to create scores. So our half forwards, our forward setup is really important to get it right.
Yeah. Look, I think in an ideal world, we all can agree possibly, Guelph is not probably walking into most teams, but in this case, he probably is the best we've got at doing that shutdown at sitting on Amon or Sicily. So that's the reasoning behind that. All right, let's move on. Who we got? Who we got in that centre half forward spot? Scoot.
Right in the middle. Well, the most obvious one is Nate Caddy, right? He I think that's the given selection.
I'm just waiting for my computer to burst into flames now because that's what he did on last Friday. I mean, no one was shutting this guy down. I don't care any opposition defenders. There was just no way he was in a mood. Sorry, continue, Scoot.
Yeah, I mean, it is genuinely a big year for him to try and take that next step up because he hasn't really officially done that yet. He's had some sort of groins and just back issues and even though he's played quite a few games, I think he would tell you quite a few of them were sore that maybe affected his aerobic capacity as well. So injury-free, had a decent preseason, looked terrific, obviously, at the last session. So, it's a big year for him. Whether a Sicily goes to him or whether a Scrimshaw or a Weddle will be really interesting. Weddle's athletic ability may be tempting for them and his run. So, that would be a contest and a half. So that's a no-brainer for me. It's Nate Caddy.
All right, who's the half forward that you got to his right? One of the more obvious ones. Let's leave the gasp. We're going to get a few gasps from the one on the left from the chat, I'm sure.
Yes. But, I know. I feel like I've got the controversial line that I have to answer to.
Look, there was no rhyme or reason. I promise. I just went, oh, yeah, Scooter, you'll take the forwards. Felix, you'll take the midfields. I was always taking the back. Yeah. But let's go with the less controversial one.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably, when I talk to track watchers, and I'll get your thoughts, Fiona, this name comes up consistently as being either the best of the preseason or the second best, Isaac Kako. He looks like he's just going to take his game to another level. He is seriously one to watch about how much he may just go up to another level. So I'm really excited. I'm generally hoping he has quite a few minutes in the midfield in the rotation. Give us something different. Give us a different look. Give us some because he's a very strong kid too. He's skillful on the run. He makes good decisions. I really like what I'm seeing. It'll be just fun to watch him this year. I get a sense that he'll be at the end of the year quite a bit of a Tip and Woody kind of feel, like a one that people just want to go to the footy to see.
Without doubt. I want to go to training just to watch the shit he does. Like that's ridiculous, I mean, I know there's a purpose of why I go to training, but if I didn't have the purpose, I'd want to go just to watch him. He is, I'm honestly lost for words, and his footy IQ has gone to that next level. He's understanding the game, and he's everything you want in a player for modern day football. He wants to move it fast, move it quick, sidestep 3 players on the way, and tackles, treats every session like it's the session before game day. And he's just, has not put a foot wrong in my eyes. So I definitely think they're going to send him up to more contests. He will definitely play that high half forward role. I mean, the temptation is there to put him close to goal because he's so accurate and can be so good there for us. But I think he'll be settling in on the half forward line. Felix, any words?
It's just good to have these young players come through who you can actually be excited about for their X factor, because I don't think we've had that since Danaher and Tip and Woody and Fantasia. When we had that high scoring fun team of footy, but seeing Kako and Caddy come through is really exciting. That's we all know he's going to be probably will be a pretty decent player, and I think we saw that in the back half of last year how he just kept improving.
Yeah, 100%. When he should have been decelerating and getting tired.
Yeah.
Hey, Maddie. Langy, you missed the Carlton chat. That was at the beginning of the show. But anyway, good to have you. Hope you're well. Happy New Year. All right, let's go to the other half forward. Now, this one's going to require some explanation, and I'm going to allow Scooter to do it. So go for it, Scott.
Yeah, look, so part of this is actually a little bit of intel I actually have that, tells me he's going to play this position for most of this year, which may surprise a few fans. A lot of people probably naturally think maybe an Archer May or a Gresham. I was so wanting to put Archer May in. So I want to tell people that because I think he'll play quite a few games. But my concern was probably Wright and May, if I'm being honest, and them how last year went with the Hawks and their speed and run, and does that open us up a little bit defensively? So Xavier Dersma on the other forward line.
He's not even in the forwards. I have to go to the midfield. All right, here we are. Yes, believe it or not.
So now he's been training there the last 2 to 3 weeks. My understanding is, so hopefully people won't know what I'm saying here. My understanding is that he will be playing quite a bit of forward time this year. So me and Felix had to have fight it out, a bit of a wrestling match.
You both wanted the great man. You both wanted
We did.
We both wanted, but I showed him a certain text, and they convinced him. So Xavier Dersma. Now, I think we also have to remind ourselves that this was his role for Port Adelaide. This is not just a new role for him. Obviously, he can play the role perfectly fine. He's very good overhead. He has a real determination defensively. He cares about it. So with all those factors, I definitely think he can kick 2 or 3 goals. With all that in mind, and knowing he's going to probably play in the forward line, I've picked him. And look, obviously my boy is not fit. So, just Sullivan, if you're watching, I would have picked you if you're fit. So that's who I've got as the starting 6 against Hawthorn.
My only reservation about this is the other attribute that I will say that Durst has and I love is he is so courageous. He will put himself in between a big hulking back and forward, no problem. He has no concession for his own safety sometimes. He's one of the most courageous on our list. So I love that about him. The only thing I will say about this, and you can give me your opinions, Felix and Scott, wasn't this what happened at Port? Wasn't this why he actually came to Essendon? And I'm just worried if it went wrong at Port. Did it go wrong at Port? I mean, they clearly had reservations, or do we think it was more driven by him?
I think it was driven by him to come to Essendon to have a wing or midfield role. And we probably said, yep, we'll give it to you. Look, it's a hard one. It's one I can't argue when I know he's going to play forward line, but
I mean, true. That's true.
It's a hard one for me to go, should I do that? Well, I know they will. Is that tough for him? I do wonder what that means to his psychology. That's what more I was getting at. What's that going to do is he sitting here thinking, oh shit, here we go again. Like I've ended up back where I started. Basically, I'm worried that mindset is going to take hold of him. My understanding is that the role will be not that deep in the forward line, as in like he will be often on the wing anyway.
Well, this was my thing. It wasn't that obvious that he was playing there until about a week ago, more so in that 40-minute, because he was often up the wing, running on the wing and interchanging on the wing. So it was less obvious.
Yeah, that's my understanding, is that it's a very high half forward role. And even so much so that you could still see him sometimes almost towards half back. If it needs defensive mind. So I think that's the modern game, right? The modern game is the real high half forwards really almost can go up to the next 50-metre arc at times. So I think he'll be a little bit better because Port did play him deeper, where I think we're wanting to play maybe half forward and see if he can score on occasions, but also have very much an attention to being up on the wing and helping out defensively if he can. So I don't think and
maturity. I think he's probably matured a little bit as well and developed and can see the bigger picture and, so all factors involved. All right, let's move on to so basically we all basically no, not yet. We all did a line. But then we had an interchange. Obviously, we have interchange players to pick. So the midfield. Felix chose 2, I chose 1, and Scooter chose 2. One is not really forward, one is more wing, could play back, could play forward. So, all right, let's go with your first interchange. Scott?
All right, this may be a surprise, and sorry, Gresham, but I'm going Elachka starting round 1.
The little man has made it. Oh my gosh, there's no picture because we haven't had media day. Okay, so we have this could be, we're going to have 2, maybe 3 of these. We'll wait and see, people. Sorry.
So I think from my vision, and it's limited to what you've seen, Fiona, his connection with Kako cannot be ignored. And he's rightfully looking as dangerous as any other small forward outside of Kako. He's kicking goals. He's busy. He's pressuring. He's very strong. But his connection with Kako is insane already. They just know each other. I mean, you watch them at training and it's like, guys, get off each other. Like they're just bromance city, and it's a delight to watch. But I've just got this funny feeling that the reason why I've got him on the bench and not starting, because I just think with senior footy, he probably this is not to be sorry, LHK, if you're watching, I still think probably you're best to have him just run 60% of the game or 65% of the game. I'm not sure his fitness is totally there yet to go bang into AFL4, especially Hawthorn. So I've got him. That's why I've got him as a bench rotation. Just have a spark come on, play 60% of the game, be a nuisance, chatter around, kick some goals, lay some hard tackles. But yeah, I mean, him and Kako, good decision makers. So I went with it. I just went, no, I can only go what I see.
I am fully head over heels in love with his decision making. Head over heels. The goals are great, wonderful, but his decision making, and I've been watching it closely probably the last couple of weeks, and it is so sound for a young player. And the other thing is they have been playing them on the same team in Match Sim in January. Yep. And the other thing is he's all we got in terms of I don't see Jay Gresham as a viable option from what I've seen at training and his past output. So, we need more speed down there, and we need more excitement and agility and someone to shake shit up and, pressure and to outfox the forwards, the backline of the Hawthorn Football Club. So I'm all for this pick from you, Scott. I was happy you did it. His fitness is not there. He's obviously still got some body shaping to do, but even in this form, he's still very, 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 very good. So to me, that's a lock. What do you think of this pick, Felix, before we move on to the midfield?
Well, fitness would be the main concern with Huss, but I think you're looking at a Hawthorn defence which is so well known for its mobility with its height. You've got Barras, Battle, Weddle, Sicily, Scrimshaw. There are very tall players here. Huss is the equal third smallest player in the competition. As soon as the ball hits the ground, there's not going to be too many in the Hawthorn backline, as tall as it is, able to keep up with Kako and Huss on ground level. So if he's ready to run out games, I haven't seen enough at training to know, but if he's ready to run out games, he could be a bit of a weapon against a team like a Hawthorn with their height in the backline, or even like a Geelong type team as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think, I think it would be definitely a 60%. He wouldn't be able to run it out at this point in time, I don't think. But he is making small improvements, but definitely not quite there yet. All right, let's move on to the last interchange. Well, he could have been an interchange for all lines, but let's give him to Scooter before we move on to the mids. Next.
Yeah, so I feel like I just had to get this guy in the side, basically. This is a player that could play forward. He did a bit of forward, played quite a bit of wing, can play half back. That's where he got drafted. I went with Angus Clark. I just felt like I needed him in the side. I just didn't want him to be out of the side. And where he rotates is not my concern. So he can play any role. But I just wanted him in the side. But I genuinely feel like he could play forward easily if he wanted to, be a high half forward. So
he's almost the perfect bench player, is he not? He just goes wherever a player needs a spell or a rotation, or he makes his way into the forward line through the wing. He pinch hits down back. He's the perfect bench player. I would love to. I'm hoping to see a bit of a step up in his training. I'm not going to lie. He's been a bit fumbly with the ball in recent times, but he did have a great December. So we'll see how we go. But, all right, that's done. Daniel, stay tuned. We're going to get to that. Don't you worry. All right, Felix, your time to shine. Let's head over to the midfield. Who is your first pick, please?
Who am I picking? Do we start with the wings? Let's continue the or do you want to make it is
you go, it's your line.
We'll start with the wings. We'll continue that Dersma conversation. First we'll chuck Braden Fiorini on one wing. I think that's pretty obvious. And I think with the conversation around Dersma potentially playing a new position, I think you need one stable, designated wingman, and that just has to be Braden Fiorini, who's come to the club to play on the wing, give us leadership where he can. I think he's a really good blend of just that attack and defense. He can use the ball really well. I don't think he got enough attention at Gold Coast for what he was doing last year, with his two-way running as well. And the club does really, rate him highly as one of the high-rated wingmen in the competition. Braden Fiorini is just an absolute no-brainer. Lock in the team if he's fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of you would have seen the reels that I'm posting and doing, spotlighting specific players. And when I go to training and take all this vision, I have hours and hours worth, maybe not hours and hours, but a couple of hours worth of vision. And then I break it all down, and whoever it's kind of highlighting or showing good signs or turnovers. Don't you worry, I'm keeping eye on the turnovers too. I put it into an album on my phone, and going back and looking through the ones that I've put in his album, it's mostly, well, not mostly, but a lot of footage of him and talking to players and tapping players and calling players back from the lines, telling players where to go. That's been a lot of what has made him stand out. And it is amazing, because the reason it stands out a lot is because he's one of the only ones who's capable of doing it so naturally and organically. So that is going to be, my God, we are not going to know ourselves, honestly.
Yeah.
And sorry, you go.
I was going to say, just picking up on Fiona's point, where a lot of our midfield are introverts, they desperately needed an extrovert with a voice to come into this group, especially with their ball movement, positioning. So I think it was a really important signing, because it's very obvious when you're at training how loud he is. And they needed some communication energy out there because Parrish, Merritt, Coulters, they're all fairly quiet, introvert natured people. So we needed
He has connected with every single player. Like, it looks like they have been teammates for years. And I kid you not. And again, this stands out so much because it is very unnatural for the rest of the team. And that can worry you, or it can excite you to know that the bar was very low and we know where we got to elevate. So back to you, Felix.
Yeah, and I guess that's why he's in the leadership group anyway, this early. Like, that is rare. That doesn't happen every day, a player just joining the leadership group that much. But it's that, connection in a few months. It's fantastic to have him on the team. It might not seem like that, star signing or anything like that, but it's a really important one.
Yeah, for us in our evolution.
Yeah, 100%. Now, the other wing. So, obviously, Xavier Dersma.
Here we go. Buckle up for this one, everyone.
Scott beat me in the wrestle. Very strong. Pinned me down.
Don't say that because they'll beat me up too.
Solution said before that he was backing Scooter in this.
Yeah, well, he won. But if you're looking at who's been training on the wing recently at training, I haven't been there, but I've heard, from you, Fiona, and others around that there's been someone new popping up on the wing. And he's actually a boy of mine. I've just come to realize. I've only got 40.
I could have swear you had 44. I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
You seem very nervous to say him for a boy of yours.
Spit it out, Felix.
Mr. Jackson Pryor. Jackson Pryor on the other wing. And this might seem like a rogue shout for those who have only seen Jackson Pryor play down back as that, Jake Kelly type defender. And yes, Jake Kelly did kind of progress onto a wing a bit later in his career, but it's not like that. Jackson Pryor's played wing before, played a bit of wing at Brisbane. He was primarily a defender at the Lions, and that's what he was at Essendon too. But if Dersma's off that wing, we need someone stable with good defensive intentions and also someone who can kick the footy. And I think that's probably the one difference between Dersma and Pryor. Dersma's probably got that athletic capability that Pryor doesn't have. So he could probably keep up with a Weddle and track back in defense and really impact in packs, in marking packs. And that's probably something I'd be a bit worried about with Jackson Pryor. He might not have that, the speed and the ability to get around the ground as quick as a Dersma has, but he does have a good, a booming left boot, one that can enter 50, probably with a bit of damage, something that we actually haven't seen too much at Essendon yet. So Dersma would be my main choice on the wing, but Pryor, I can see, I can see why the experiment's there. It might just be a test for now. They might bring in someone else to play in that main wing role in training that'll impress us a bit, but Pryor is my wing choice for now.
Yeah. Scott?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Look, I do wonder Dersma's turnovers, if that's a bit of a factor. Yep. They had a discussion at the end of the year because sometimes they are fairly brutal, his turnovers, as much as I love him. And do they want to get no doubt they've talked about ball movement and they're trying to get more skill and more guys hitting targets to the forward line. So I wonder if that's a little bit of what they saw in a few games that he played at Brisbane. He's obviously he's a nice left foot kick. So I don't see it as much as Jake Kelly as like I said, others do, and I can see in the comments, but I see it a little bit different. But look, I don't think it's as ideal. I still feel like, even though we've probably named it, feels like a very open position, whether it's a swap of Archie Roberts and Farrow later in the year, whether Max Congianis in a year's time on another wing. It feels like there's still a bit of an open area. If Dersma's going to go the forward line, it feels like now an open area. And a Hooley is another one that you could, who's had a very good preseason. So yeah, I one of those ones I feel like we've named him, but he was one of those ones it easily could be someone else by the time the game starts.
Yeah,
So
I'm waiting for this to be the club being like a ha, got you. Like I'm just waiting to look super stupid about this because he could find his way back into the back line. But I don't know. I just think I have reservations. I think he's got more skills than I gave him credit for, seeing him on the wing, which is nice. But my reservation is it just way too slow with Fiorini on the other side, given that as much as Fiorini's a gut runner and a hard worker, he's not that fast moving, wingman gliding up and down the wing like a Dursma, like a Cox, like, the best wingers in the competition. So back to your point, Felix, if they do put Weddle on the wing, that's going to expose him, isn't it?
100%. And I think what this does do, if it doesn't do anything, what it does do is give someone the opportunity to take that spot, whether it is a Jacob Farrow who could 100% play wing. We just haven't really seen him play wing, I don't think, at training yet. But that's I could see Farrow playing wing. Kondagiannis, as you said, would be like he's almost like a young Weddle, not in terms of quality, but style of play. I could see Kondagiannis playing wing in the future, even if it's a Nick Cox, finally coming good, overcoming his health battles and playing on the wing. It does feel like a stopgap right now.
Yes.
Jackson Pryor. That's 100% what it is. We're just waiting for someone to, just take that spot. To realize that there's a spot there for the taking and really take it. Because the wing is a really important spot to absolutely nail. Like you want to have good wingmen. So the best teams in the comp have really good quality wingmen. I don't know if Jackson Pryor is going to cut it, but right now I don't know who else really we can name.
Yeah,
it's a tougher spot to do in late Jan. Another wing spot. You feel like of all the spots, I need 3-4 more practice games just to see.
And look,
where play out.
Is it, sorry to cut you off, Scott? Is it safe to say that it's realistically come round one, there's going to be a few players who are going to rotate in that position? Archie Roberts is probably going to push through. We know Angus Clark will run through. So Xavier Dursma, again, probably will run through at some point. So it's probably going to be that situation where he's not going to play wing for, the whole game.
And Clark's last 2 games on the wing last year were actually really good. How he finished off the year. So that obviously the coaches will know that. So I think they'll progress his form in the next month as well to see where Angus Clark is at, because they'll like his overhead capacity as well.
Yeah. And you look at a team that we're playing in this game like Hawthorn, who are so malleable with pretty much every position. They've got about 6 or 7 players who are probably going to play on the wing, probably to try and expose us. Having, Clark on the bench, even Langford, all these guys who, theoretically can play wing, it's definitely a position which you can flick around if you've got the magnets to do so. So there's a few options, none of them really screaming out at me right now, though.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a bit like Guelphy. That's a stopgap. We wouldn't be playing him if we had an extra small, defensively minded, small, buzzy forward, would we?
Yeah.
So, and that's no disrespect. That's just reality. If we want to be, we're in our upgrade era. We just don't quite have it yet, unfortunately. But we're building drafts, and then next year, this year, end of this year, we think that we're going to, try and trade really aggressively and free agent really aggressively. All right, enough of that. Jackson Pryor. All right, let's go to the ruck. I mean, that's an obvious one, but shall we? Maybe it's not. Is it?
I mean, it's got to be pretty obvious with Nick Bryan unavailable. I think it's a good discussion if Nick Bryan is fit, but we're going Lockie Blackiston for this game. But it is an interesting one, especially because Hawthorn's ruck situation is an interesting one to think about, because I think the rule changes really also in 2023, Ned Reeves was their main ruck. They changed the rules to kind of have rucks grappling and wrestling more. They've kind of reverted on that a little bit, and now that Lloyd Meek is dominating, not for that reason, but it might bring Ned Reeves into things a bit more. Even if it doesn't, Lockie Blackiston is a very different ruck to the guys he's going to be going up against. The Ned Reeves, who's just that tall, lumbering ruck, and the Lloyd Meek, who is one of the strongest men you'll ever see. But I think the rule changes will really benefit someone like a Lockie Blackiston who can get around the ground. He's probably not going to be that stoppage dominant ruck who gets 40 to 50 hitouts a game, but he's someone who can impact around the ground in open play, which is hopefully what the AFL is going to look like going forward. More open play, less stoppages. So even if Nick Bryan's fit, I think it's a really good discussion whether, who plays in front of who. But Lockie Blackiston will start the year, of course, because Nick Bryan is recovering from that ACL.
And you've also got the rule between the arcs, right? Of goes out of bounds. It's just the opposition just get the free basically if it's if you're the last one's touched it. So you don't have as many kind of throw-ins that Blackiston has to worry about as far as stoppage ruck. We've just got the ball, or they've got the ball, so he can. So it's going to be a faster game, and he's a really key player for us with his mobility, because just from the vision I see, and Fiona's brilliant at it on Instagram, you can see his mobility and how much he's in the game everywhere. It just feels like he's always in every clip.
Yep, and because he is. Yeah, he really is. And he's one thing I'm enjoying picking up on little nuances in some of these players that I didn't before. And for him, it's his reflexes. Wherever that ball drops, flies, he's on to where he's positioning himself on where it's going next. If it's ping-ponging off a player, he's reading that ball. His tackling is good. His punching is good. Spoiling, I should say. Yeah, just hugely impressed with him.
Yeah, and I think we all really liked his attitude last year in defence. And I think we all have an appreciation for Lockie Blackiston. We didn't really see him play ruck much at all. I think if you piece together all the games he played, just rucking, it would probably barely add up to one full game. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he actually goes now that he's playing his preferred position, which is not in the back line, thankfully. That's for Lockie Blackiston.
Yeah, he's still got some coming out of his shell to do. I will give him that. I would love to see him, but I think asking him to improve on that would be taking him out of his little comfort shell. Hopefully, when he feels a bit more confident, he may come out of his shell a little bit. But right now, he is one of the more introverted guys. All right, Felix, hit me with your first midfield.
We are going with Mr. Zachary Merritt. I think this is the first name you put down in the team sheet pretty much every week. He is our best player. He's still going to be our best player. I don't have any worries about him, falling into his shell or anything like that with all the stuff that went on in the off season. I think he's just going to go about his business and probably be the front runner for, what is it? Is it a 7th Crichton medal? Would it be his 7th if he wins it? Yep. Yeah, well, there you go. He'd be right in the mix for that. He's still a great player. It's got to be Zach Merritt in that midfield.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Sorry, I just laughed at Fiona's yep then.
Sorry. That was not intentional. I promise that one. I was reading the chat. Sorry, Felix.
What do you think behind you? Yep.
So much, but none of you want what I'm thinking anyway.
Look, I will say, I'm going to give him a little bit of a compliment, and people know my frustration of the off season and some of the things he's done. So be it. But the session I went to twice, I saw Redmond and Merritt both having massive jokes with each other. And actually meant a lot to me in a weird way because I was very organic, the laughs. Merritt did a goal from the boundary line and faked like he was cheering to the crowd, and Redmond was killing himself laughing. And then they were kind of like hugging it out, killing themselves laughing. But it kind of like, who knows what's going on really in their minds. But I really want to kind of acknowledge at least the professionalism of Redmond, McGrath, Merritt, and how they've all handled it since it's happened, because it could have really been. My nervous part was we are the senior younger side, and I didn't want to fracture. And basically, they've been as professional as I could have hoped. And Merritt's just got on with the job. He's trains hard, wants to be a good footballer, wants to play well, talking to all the guys. So I give him that kind of credit from visually what I'm seeing, that he's actually quite engaged, ironically, with the group. And so I give him a bit of credit for that at least, because it could have gone really south, but it's been quite unusually stable. and actually quite good vibes amongst the group. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just in the middle of sneezing. Felix, did you have something to add?
Well, I think it's also important. I've been getting some questions about Zach Merritt and whether or not it's, there are plenty cynical people or maybe pessimistic people who, are just expecting that Zach Merritt is to be traded at the end of the year. And even if that's true, that, they're saying, why take midfield minutes away from a young kid if he's going to be traded at the end of the year and not play there? But you look at our midfield, which we're going to go through more in a second. It's hard to say when there's not many players there, but it is, I wouldn't say one-dimensional, but it's a bit one note. It's, very similar players throughout it. The only one with genuine A-grade elite damage now that Nick Martin is injured is Zach Merritt. So I get that, there's the discussion to play him off halfback so we can get more midfield minutes into, insert name here. But we do need that damage. We need that just natural kick going inside 50. And Zach Merritt that's the one. That's our best kick at the club. And he's just our best player at the club. You want our best player around the ball as much as he can be.
All I will add to this is he's the best player. He plays.
Yeah.
Do I love the situation still? Do I still have reservations that it's not great for the culture? Yes. But that's not going to change. He's the best player. He plays because he will give us more chances to have some more happiness, some happiness maybe. And, whilst I don't believe and have never believed like that he's been a super high quality leader, I think everybody knows where we stand in that regard. The baton has been passed now. We're moved past him in that regard. Now we want to empower this next group to be leaders and to be the leadership and the culture that this club has been desperate for, because it hasn't worked with him as a leader, with others as leaders for years. So now we've kind of moved past that. So that's all I say. Yep. Let's move on to the next midfielder who's going to be standing next to him.
Yeah, let's lift the mood and talk about someone that we really like talking about. Let's throw in Mr. Jai Caldwell. Just one of the just a tough nut. And I'm really excited about Jai Caldwell against Hawthorn, because I talked about Essendon's midfield being a bit one note. I think their main weakness as a club right now structurally is probably their midfield and whether or not it is to, bash and crash and bully. And the one player that can go really head to head with those, those square-headed Hawthorn grunt type midfielders is Jai Caldwell. I remember that game round one last year where Jai Newcombe was just tearing out of the centre bounce and Caldwell just chased him down and it was just beautiful. It was good to see. It really was. So Hawthorn they rely a lot on their muscle in the midfield. There's not as much damage on the inside. If we can really match them with our muscle, it makes it a really interesting contest. And Jai Caldwell that's the main one for me, because he's just. And we saw him last year against Hawthorn. Didn't he get I don't know if he got the 3 Brownlow votes, but he was just about the best player on the field. He was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, he was tearing them apart. It was 36. Yeah. I was just having a look. 36 disposals, 11 tackles.
That's crazy.
He was insane.
Yeah, that's him at his best, isn't it? And we think he will 100% run with Newcombe. Does anybody think any differently? Chat. Poll, we're going to talk about some key matchups, but that's box office, really.
Yeah, that's fun. I like that. That's just good for footy, isn't it? I think everyone likes those players. You can't really dislike a Jai Newcombe or a Jai Caldwell, even if you go for the other team. Both called Jai. There you go. Didn't even think about that until now.
We're going to get to that, don't you worry. I've already picked up on that, Felix. No, as much as that would be controversial, TL, no, not happening. Not in this show anyway. Maybe another one. All right, let's fill that last spot, Felix.
Jade Gresham. No, we'll go with another. I like. No, don't do it to me. It's really hard to talk about Jai Caldwell without talking about Sam Durham. I think these guys are. I don't even know if there's a natural, connection or chemistry between the two, but they are just intertwined, with the way they play their footy. I think there's probably more to Sam Durham, as a player outside of the midfield, and that's exciting because it gives us depth, to move around the magnets and chuck them in the forward line. But Sam Durham streaming through centre bounces, it's often chaotic. It's not always pretty, and it doesn't always work. But he is, but he just throws his body around, and again against that Hawthorn midfield that likes to try and bully teams. Sam Durham's a really good way to combat that.
Yeah, 100%. Scott, anything to add?
No brainer. Has that? I still think he has the capacity to go up another level. Because he actually said it himself in a recent club interview that he still has gone missing a few moments in games. Like he can miss a quarter, and you go, where was that? And then he'll go insane the next quarter. If he can just even that out a bit more and have a more consistent 4 quarters, then he has the potential to be a real top echelon kind of midfielder in the competition. I reckon he's pretty special, actually. I'm a big believer on Sam's potential.
His preseason for mine is all about being fitness and endurance for mine. More contests, more often, more impact, more consistency for him. That's obviously he can tweak and get better at his disposal sometimes, but he's getting so much of his game right that we just need more of it and want more of it, and more of it is what's going to help the team on game day. So it's hard to get a read on whether he's gone to that next level in that regard so far. He's certainly that bash and crash, but because we have only seen one really match sim where it's been about 40 minutes, it's hard to get a read on if his endurance has gone to that next level. So hopefully in official intra-clubs and practice matches, we'll get more of an idea on that. But all right, that team looks very strange to me. The midfielders and the forwards there, just zooming out. But let's go to your bench spots. Felix, first one.
Yeah, so this is where it gets a bit worrying, not because I don't like these players, but because you throw them in the midfield and you think about rotations and it starts to become a bit, like there's just, we'll start with nothing against any of these players individually, but I think, you want a bit more dynamism in your midfield. So it was a struggle to place players on the bench, but it's also a struggle to leave them out of the side completely, if you know what I mean. So Darcy Parish to me is a starting midfielder in most clubs when fit. Like that just makes sense. He is his ball winning capabilities and just his first possession usage, his ability to extract the footy and use it in quick and personal and just win the ball for his team is, we saw it in 2021 and 2022. Yes, it was a long time ago, but it is elite. He was one of the elite midfielders of the competition when fit, and he's looking fit. That's the thing. I think he's not only looking fit, but he's looking, mentally fit as well. I remember seeing him at the hangar looking, like one of the happiest guys out there. And I think, was it a video that you did, Fiona, or maybe it was, I don't know, someone met Parish's wife, I think, who, just said he was in as good, in as good a spot mentally as he's been for a long time. I think if Darcy Parish is fit, he's really just almost impossible to leave out of most AFL teams.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just want to tackle this, Neil. Well, we haven't overturned the list. It's the same list virtually, but the difference is that they're all playing together at the same time. Does anybody else want to have input? Scott, I can see your eyes and brain twirling on this one. Aside from bringing in 4 new kids, you can't play all the kids.
No, well, look, for me, I would argue Caldwell missed too much of the year. Langford missed pretty much most of the year.
They didn't play all these games together.
The continuity wasn't in this group.
Exactly.
So I would say the team we're picking, even if it may have 3 or 4 newish kind of only players only, I think it's more the fact that they're healthy. So that's how I see it. It's just we did actually have some good players. They just weren't on the park, and we had no continuity.
And all at the same time. Yeah.
That's why we debuted 15 players, and that's why we finished where we did. So, that's
a very interesting. That's so true, isn't it? What Jeff is saying here. When we actually had them.
Yeah, I mean they've had at some stages they've been top 5. We've just and we've just been a club that's got injuries at bad time consistently, and now that hopefully that wheel's turning as far as the rehab professionalism and how it's run and how they're training, they're obviously going to be a lot fitter. I think I would argue this is maybe going to be the fittest you've seen this group as far as repeat running. So it'll be interesting. They've prepared them for a much faster game. And that's what Innes is doing, is preparing them for a faster game by having intense running for 2 hours. So I'm quietly hoping he's got to jump on the competition a bit about preparing him for the new rules as well, and how the game will probably be played, which will be a little bit faster next year.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's lock in your last interchange. This one's personal fave.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't claim this one as my boy because this is your boy.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that we at least have that. I'm driving another little bus, but I don't think that guy's making it to the team possibly. Anyway, who is making it into this spot?
Mr. Dyson Sharp. I think from the moment he was drafted, it was pretty much not a lock that he'd play round 1, but we understood that this was a player who could, or a kid who could come in. Actually, I don't even want to say kid because we don't know how old he is. He might be 25. He could come in and play round 1. He's played against men for the last 2 years now in the Sandful and looked really strong. Still looks really strong at training. I think we spoke off air about that clip of Dyson Sharp that you posted where he kind of, bashes out of a pack, mongrels a kick, and it somehow still works. And some will say, well, he's completely, kicked an absolute floater there, but that is Dyson Sharp to a T. It doesn't look pretty. There's not much fluidity behind him, a lot of the time in movement as a footballer, but it does just work, and it's been working pretty much at every level he's played at. So I think he's going to be a good AFL footballer.
There is zero polish about this kid. Don't expect to be seeing beautiful drop punts and gliding movement. None of that. That was the whole point of me posting that. Trolls came at me and some Essendon supporters saying, "Oh, look, he kicked it like a loaf of bread and blah, blah, blah." The whole point was that's what he does. And every kick comes off. That was the point of it. This kid is a beauty. He's an absolute beauty. He's not polished at all, but he's hard to move. He's impossible to tackle, almost impossible to tackle. He tackles the big boys like they're, a breath of wind. He's just an absolute beauty, and he's the fiercest competitor, one of the fiercest competitors. If you thought Sam Durham was competitive by the way he burrows into packs, this kid is just going to take that next level. So, all right. Your job is done. Now over to me. I'm going to absolutely fly through this because none of you want more of me yabbing on. So I'm going to start with the fullback. Now, holy shit, I better remember what I've done here. Fullback, I think that's pretty nice and easy. Ben Mackay. I'll get a word quickly on both of you. Quickly.
Having a great preseason. Look forward to seeing what makes of that then.
Yep. I concur.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. That's not very much. I did say one word, so that's my bad. All right. The back pocket to his left. All right. If your screen is backwards, I have Mason Redman, who is quietly just doing his thing. It's probably going to excite, maybe please a lot more of you that he's definitely playing more direct, faster, forward football. I know there were a lot of reservations about the last couple of years that he's had in terms of stagnating. Him and Ridley, mainly being the ones driving the ball backwards and sideways and slow and stopped. I mean, maybe that was part of the instruction. We don't know, but it's definitely not been what I've seen from Mason Redmond this off-season. A lot of you would have seen that I have done. I mentioned that he and Roberts have really got some beautiful fluidity going in their 1-2s out of the back line, and it's all forward movement and fast. So that's exciting for me. Felix, do you think we could see him get back to his best this year?
I do. I 100% I do. I think I think he'd be the first to admit that he's been playing below his standard after a really good season in 2023. I think Mason Redmond at his best is a really great player. He's a really aggressive player. And it's kind of channeling that aggression, for good, because I think at times it's boiled over. And then other times lately, it's also just not been there at all when it should have been. But I think, with the Zach Merritt situation, which we won't talk about too much more, I think he's one of the players that will step up in terms of leadership. And to me, I think you guys I don't know if you agree, but he is giving off the vice captain without the title right now.
Good call, Scott.
I concur.
Great call. Nicely done. Very nice. I concur also. All right. With that concurring, let's go to the next back pocket. Who have I got here? Let me just triple check because I've got a million things happening. All right. I've gone Andrew McGrath, the new skipper. Now, this guy polarizes people a lot. I still have fears talking about this guy on my channel and publicizing him and posting about him. And that upsets me because I think he's really, really, I want to be clear. He didn't pick himself at number one. And people have got to cut the crap when it comes to looking at him in that vein. He did not pick himself at number one. And that I'm going to leave it at that.
Not him, us.
That's right. And I think he's wearing that, and he's at the mercy of that number one label.
No, I think I actually thought he had a half decent year last year. So I'm a bit more upbeat on Andy. I know he's going to do the kick around the corner that's all going to drive us nuts. He's still going to do that probably, but I thought he actually showed quite a bit last year. Ironically, and this is what people will discuss a long time, and I can see the media discussing on as some people say, can he play midfield? Because he's probably his best game almost in the last 3-4 years was the Saints game as captain and midfield. He took ownership as captain with Merritt out, and he was a big reason we won that game, to be blunt. So that's an interesting one. It at least gives us flexibility. But
we almost won. We didn't win.
Oh, didn't we? Oh,
St Kilda.
Oh, okay.
Let's not go back there. That was painful.
Why did I thought we won that game? Okay.
Almost by 3 points. They won. I think. I'm pretty sure it was 3 points.
Yeah, Redmond missed that shot. Yeah,
I do remember.
That's right. That's right. As tragedy as it was, he almost won us that game.
He did.
Yeah,
you're right.
But it told me anyway that leadership, when it's on him, he cares about it and on his performance. So I'm quietly expecting a big year from Andy. But every player you talk to just loves the decision that he's captain. So, so I think that's an important part in the holistic discussion as well about his importance to the team.
I don't care that he's not the best player as captain in terms of the best player as our captain. I have such little care factor for that personally. I think some of the best small forwards in the competition have commended Andy for him playing them so well. And they almost do it in a shocked bit of a can't believe I got schooled by Andy McGrath kind of way. So there's a very obvious matchup here for him, and we're going to discuss it once I stop rambling. Okay, let's get to centre half back. Oh, this guy. We take this guy for granted, and he's barely played any games of football. It is Zach Reid. He is just absolute chef's kiss in so many which ways, except on Friday but nobody could get hold of Caddy, so we'll forgive him about that. He didn't play full time on Caddy, but he did spend some time. He's going to make all the difference. He is the most precious commodity we have. I maintain that. I can't wait to see him play a full season of football, and that is what he will be doing. All right, half back. I am placing one Archie Roberts. He's the guy that everybody wants in their team. He is getting a game in every single other club, in every single other team's lineup. Felix, I've seen a few comments in the chat of people saying to play him on the wing, start him on the wing.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably, it's not a bad shout, to be honest. He has played a bit of wing for Essendon, and he definitely could play wing. I just think, I don't know, it's a tough one. I think either way, you're going to be moving Archie Roberts or Jackson Pryor around, or Jacob Farrow, potentially. Not a bad shout, to be honest. I think you could put an Archie Roberts on the wing.
Yeah, I agree. Very versatile, but I particularly want his changing of the angles and cutting through zones, coming out of defense. We could argue that potentially, what we have there right now is probably, aside from Reid, are probably not the most reliable, silky smooth kickers. So I think Archie Roberts there is a no-brainer for mine in the back line. And half back, other side, this guy has not integrated into full training yet, but he is not far away. And I have no doubt in my brain that they have circled that Matt Innes. I didn't see this when he showed me his piece of paper that day, but I'm sure that in his office, he's got round 1 circled in 44 days' time, and he has the plan every single day they have planned out for this next guy, and the man is Jordan Ridley himself. They've got every single day and every single little increment of extra training and extra load they're doing to get him absolutely cherry right for the 13th of March. I've forgotten now, but that is what I feel that they are doing with Ridley. So I believe he will be out there round 1. And I'm not sure who. I think it was Neil again. I'm going to say it was Neil, but he has said that there's not much speed in this team. And we're going to talk about that in a second. But I'm going to add the last interchange here. And the reason I've picked this guy, and it might surprise some of you, but I think a lot of you are going to be pretty happy with it. The reason I picked this guy is because Hawthorn's particular breed of small forward is given a medium forward or a small. Are we classifying him as a medium forward, guys?
Medium to
small for the sake of the argument.
Did you say small or medium?
I'll say small.
Okay, so for the sake of the argument, great, thank you. So they give me nightmares. Ginnivan and Watson, that duo. And for that reason, I have picked Jaden Nguyen to play. This is going to put at ease. This is going to put at ease the number 1 fan here for the show. So that's going to make our Scooter very happy. That's going to make the Play the Kids Brigade very happy. Because there are, how many kids have we got in here? New kids. Well, he's not new. He did play, but technically he's new. I'm calling him new. And also he adds a little bit of pace as well. So that's who I've gone. This is the team. All right, that's not a very nice looking. So what I'm going to do right now, you guys have a quick word while I get my shit in order, please.
It's actually a bit of pace in that team when you put Ewan in. You got Huss down the forward line, Kako through. You're starting to get a little bit more. Yeah, Caddy's quite fast. You're getting there. You're getting a little bit more zip, hopefully, around the ball.
Oh, yeah. How'd you do that so fast?
All right. Well, look, don't tempt it because this could go to shit very quickly. But yes, this is one I prepared earlier. Wink. This is the team zoomed out. What are everybody's thoughts? Talk to us in the comments. Who feels confident? Who hates it? Who thinks that we're going down by 120 points? That could be happening anyway. I'd like to remind people that we don't have we're still in our upgrade era, aren't we, guys? We're still working on upgrading the list and getting the best out of what we have. This, to me, is the best I think we could come up with.
Yeah, I think when I see it all, I like the midfield. But I must say, for me personally, if Ridley and Reid play, that is a 3-goal better team on us for our sake. because I'm a massive Jordan Ridley fan. I just think he's a fantastic player. And I think once a Jordan Ridley in form, I think we always maybe underappreciate when this guy's really in form. He's a magnificent defender. And Zach Reed probably is top 2 in the most important players at the club, really, if we can get him on the park. So having him, Reed, and Mackay, because they'll help out Mackay tremendously as well and make Mackay a better player. That's a much more sound defensive tall group to start playing footy again. And that 3 just haven't played together. So we just haven't really seen that aspect of Essendon, of the 3 talls playing all on the same park. So I think it's a good balanced side for Hawthorn. I think it's playing Hawthorn. I think no doubt probably in our minds we would have 1 or 2 changes maybe the following week. But for Hawthorn, I think we've at least looked at what Hawthorn does well, what they did to us previously, and try and counter it with, hopefully some fresh blood with Newen, Sharp, plus keeping Kako. Obviously, I'd love Roby and Farrow. Maybe we'll talk about them a bit later, but they're just not ready yet. But there's a team now, and then there's a team you can envision in 12 months' time, and that's a very exciting team. I think this team is actually quite competitive already.
Yeah. Neil, you've not upset me at all. This is what it's about. Chatting, talking. You can be negative. No need to be. It's not about blanket positivity. It's about discussion, and not at all. You've been respectful. That's all that matters. Yes, Caspar. So I'm assuming that for you, if Farrow, for example, look, in terms of leaving out Farrow, let's cover it quickly. Right now, I feel like the maturity is not quite there yet for him in terms of a round 1 berth. But that's not to say there is still how many more days? 44 days there. There you go. 44 days left to go. He could come into his own in a month, and we could all be calling for him to replace Pryor there. This is what I'm going on my gut of what I've seen at training. I think they want Jackson Pryor in this team currently. But yes, Chris, go back to the start or not middle of the show, and you'll have your reasoning there. 3 stumps. Stay tuned. We're getting to that. Andy, sketchiest bit is Pryor in the ring, but no obvious weak points. Felix, is it safe to say there's a nice blend of youth here, and we're still getting, for those that play the kids brigade, we're still getting quite a nice balance here of some of the younger kids?
Yeah, well, there are some young players in this team, and that's probably, realistically, Hawthorn are challenging for a premiership. They didn't make any debutants last year. They probably won't early this year either. They've got a team that they're going with, and that team is to win a grand final. We are in a very different trajectory. Yes, it might come undone, in terms of a result against a team like Hawthorn, but the fact we're going to be in this scenario getting games into guys like Dyson Sharp and Jaden Newen and Archie Roberts, and I could go on and on. I think that's really important because as we're talking about, the team for round 1 next year, it's a bit more competitive, but in the future, it's going to be a lot better, for the reason, getting games into these young players. So, and we probably could have got more into this team as well. Like Jacob Farrow, as people were talking about, Sardis mentioned before as well. There are young players on the outside probably knocking the door down in this scenario as well.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. And my first gut reaction to Jared says, love to understand the rotation plan through the midfield. Here we must get so much more sophisticated. Well, is it safe to say, from my point of view, Jared, we were always looking to improve, but that's all we've really got, really, aside from one obvious maybe who's been left out, and we'll talk about him in a sec. But Felix, is that pretty much what we've got to work with?
Yeah, Nick Martin would make it look a lot better.
True.
That would make it look incredible. But even the midfielders we got, I think you've only got a couple there maybe that are going to be, full-time midfield. Like you can move these players around. You can throw Isaac Kako in there. You can throw, probably not Andy McGrath, but he can play midfield. You've got players that can play midfield and give you a bit of spice and spruce. But I think against Hawthorn, who have a team that is, somehow more one-dimensional in the midfield than what we've got there with our players, I think even just Zach Merritt in that midfield alone is it gives us so much more dynamism than what they have. My issue with this team against Hawthorn wouldn't be the midfield. Obviously Will Day out as well. I think our midfield is probably better than theirs at the moment.
So, okay, well, on that, what is your worry about this team against Hawthorn then? It's not the midfield. What is it?
I just think Hawthorn in open play are so just dangerous because of their flexibility and versatility. You can't really have a plan against them because they've got so many different high-quality players that can play like absolutely anywhere. Like they can just throw Josh Weddle on the wing to run rings around Jackson Pryor, and then if we move someone onto him there, he can go in another position. They've got so many high-quality players, and it's the versatility with those players that makes them such a good team. Because I actually don't think on paper Hawthorn have a championship, a premiership team, but it's their system and structure that really gets them going a long way.
Yeah,
I think too with the Will Day injury, I think that really hurts them because it's the same time they've lost Warple, right? So Warple obviously leaving the Hawks. They've kind of lost two midfielders already. So they really need a Mackenzie to really step up. So our midfield, we were the last time we played them, we were like plus 20 and around the ground stoppages. We were like plus 40, 50 possessions. We were all over them. We've got contest work, that midfield, especially Caldwell. I don't know if you remember, Mitchell after the game said basically, when I look at the stats, I have no idea how we won this game.
Yeah.
And so it comes down to us is really can we get our ball movement much better? For us, it's our efficiency. Like, can we get the efficiency going forward, midfield to forwards, halfbacks going through that midfield? Can we use the ball better? Can we make smarter decisions, protect the ball more?
Capitalize on ground balls.
And that's why Farini helped. Hopefully that's why Zach Reed's is healthy helps, even a Jordan Ridley. It's just better ball users around the ground. If we can get that Kako being more involved and being a bigger player, high forward midfield. On rotations, I expect quite a lot more rotations this year. I think Dyson Sharp unlocks a lot of that because he's kind of like a grounded stability, just a place in that midfield.
That makes me so happy.
So whereas they needed Sam Durran's grunts because Merritt couldn't really do that part. Sharp there really says, Durham, you can go for a quarter up forward and really hurt them up forward. You can rotate. And Merritt can go down forward. I think that's what probably fans want, a bit more rotation, flexibility. But the way we've drafted with Farrows and that, we've drafted guys, Roby as well, to have that flexibility, have a lot more rotations, be a bit more Geelong-like. Geelong love unexpected rotations. They love surprising teams in their planning because they've got so many guys that can rotate in different positions. And they can sort of catch teams off guard with how many rotations they have. So look, I'm hoping that starts to infiltrate with our club, and I generally think Sharp unlocks a lot of that, and Parrish, by the way, as well, obviously.
Yeah, and I just think the natural, again, we're seeing Jackson Pryor training on the wing, but this could be just part of the plan of exposing players to different positions in the case that they have to and should have to fuck shit up and throw the plans out the window and, chuck Pryor on a ring to, confuse an opposition or chuck Angus Clark forward deep, I think that could also be part of the plan in a way.
Yeah, exactly. And someone even mentioned why not Merritt on a wing. I know it sounds funny, but that's not even a crazy for you to even try it. Yeah, you could. Him on a left foot on the wing with a bit of pace. Yep. You can have some flexibility with a few more better midfielders coming back healthy, and then obviously Sharp coming in as well. So hopefully we get a bit more. Brad Scott has a bit more strategy now available to him to sort of negate oppositions.
Yeah. Well, I think when you're not trying to keep a bit of structure and control for 15 new debutants, I think when you got your same magnets to play with every single week, I think that naturally will bring out a bit of organic creativity and free thinking and flowing thinking to get creative. So, all right, a lot of people yelling Johnson, May, and Sardis. So on that note, let's look, because I reckon we're starting to kind of just gently push into the realm of loco. So before we get there, let's look at the close, but not quite close enough yet, is my point. I put ... there as if because I want to say yet, because some of these players are very, very close, and we're all going to pick one on each line who was the next cab up, or could have easily played, not played, could have easily played it for a different opposition. So each of us, this were the 6 to me that were the closest, and we're all going to pick one. I'll just quickly go first, and then I'll let the guys take over. My pick here, if it wasn't Nguyen, it was going to be Sardi Al-Hawley for mine. I'm going to say, this is going to shock some of you, he has been taking a ridiculous amount of intercept marks down back. Ridiculous amount. And there have not been many marks this offseason, barely any marks. Most balls come front and centre to the ground, contests on the ground. Yeah. He has been taking intercept marks galore. All of his highlights, intercept marks. Not all, lots of candy selling, of course, but still work to do. And Nguyen got the nod because A, their small forwards scare me, and B, because I just think Sardi's got some work to do if he's going to be part of the solution in terms of good ball use coming out of the 50 and some really reliable kicking and ball use coming out of that 50. He's in a very, very vulnerable part of the ground. So, man, he does magical things, gets out of the car crash, but then he just needs some of that polish, and he is getting better, I have to stress. But he was my next cab off the rank choice. Very, very close. And had it been different opposition who didn't have quite as, foxy small forwards, he may have got the nod. So he's mine. Let's go to you, Felix. Who was your next cab off the rank? I think it's pretty obvious in this 6, but was he close?
I'd actually throw in another person in this 6. Because I think, look, obviously Elijah Sardis is who we're referring to, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But I think if there's an injury, Elijah Sardis is in that midfield.
Yep.
But it's really hard to, one, argue having him against any of the players already in there, but 2, include him alongside them. So I think if it's, what would be, I'd be debating in my head more, it'd probably be someone like Zach Johnson on the wing, just because he's got, it's different. It's something that you can throw around magnets with. I think if you put Sardis in a midfield with Sharp and Parrish, you've got a few players there that are locked to the midfield that probably limit the amount of rotations you can have. Zach Johnson coming into the team can really probably unlock a few things for it on the wing. It can unlock Jackson Pryor to go back if you need a bit more stability, and it can unlock, certain players to go in other positions as well. So the one I'd be thinking about there is probably Zach Johnson.
Yeah, beautiful. Love it.
It's an interesting one too, because if I had a bit of a mini complaint with the club, I don't like how they've constantly pigeonholed him at half back. I just feel like, if ball movement going forward is still not great, I'm not sure why we haven't tried him up the field a bit. I just feel like he would play that role. If he was playing wing all preseason, I'd probably be close to putting him in, but I can't put him in because he hasn't played one session probably there. So it's very hard to put him in there. Because you have to acknowledge what the coach is doing. Now, probably for me, this may surprise people, but I think Archie Wicks is really close to being selected into this side. I think he's had a fantastic preseason. Interesting on the club, one of those videos the other day that they were saying kind of he was almost one of the strongest at the club now already on the weights.
Definitely looks it.
Yeah, the photo doesn't but he is really up and about, and he's in people's faces, it seems to me, and he's very determined to make a career of himself. would have had, would I say right, Fiona, would have had like 4 or 5 shots on goal. I know he didn't kick them all, but would have had 4 or 5 shots on goal the other day.
And
and that was on.
Sorry,
I was going to say, was that on Roberts or was that on?
No. So Kondajanis was matched up on
him.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's probably a little bit, too strong.
Yeah, but it was also the follow-up, that little competitive edge that I think he's added or absorbed, or he's got the he's got the bug from playing, getting the taste of AFL football last year, and he's got the bug, and now he wants in, and that little competitive edge that's coming out, just his tackling and his follow-up after an error. That's what I love about Jai Caldwell. It's my favourite thing about him is how he responds after he makes stuff up. The next contest, the next 2 contests are harder than he's gone all game to make amends and to win the ball back, and Archie Wicks has got a bit of that about him. So where would you have him? Would you push then Kako?
How would you have him up? So, I actually had to think a lot about him or Guelphy for a while because I feel like him forward, I think he'd be a bit of a mongrel, a bit like Guelphy. So I just wondered, I wonder if Scott would be just tempted to say we might just try a new player anyway in that Guelphy spot and just to really develop him there. So I don't think, and hand on heart, I probably didn't have him in the top 40 out of the 45 players before the preseason. I thought his year last year was quite poor. He just was not. He wasn't really playing well at all at VFL. And something's happened. Obviously, a discussion's had with him. Something's really woken him up. For me to think, okay, you've gone that far up in my rank, it is all credit to him. So, he's very interesting one to watch this year.
Yeah. What, any input? I know he's one of your 40 guys, Felix, but what have you got to say?
I don't remember claiming Archer Day Wicks, but I'll take it anyway.
I am sure I've heard you say 100%.
Possibly. No, look, I was intrigued by him as a draft prospect in the rookie draft because he came through as a really highly rated player at the start of his draft year. He was in the academy, kind of faded off a bit. I thought what's really interesting about Day Wicks is that this guy didn't make his debut because of the injury crisis or during the injury crisis. He made it before against Sydney when there were actually players available and fit, and he was actually playing some decent VFL footy. I do think the second half of his year, where he should have been playing consistently and regularly, he really tapered off and looked just in and out of games in the VFL. He had a really funny old year, Archer Day Wicks. It was really strange to watch him sometimes because I thought there were times where he was just getting into the swing of things, and then he'd just go missing for a whole quarter, and it was a really funny one to read. So I think it's that 4-quarter consistency. If you can actually, because he's a really talented footballer, like this guy. And what we didn't see last year is that he's got a lot of X factor to him as well. Like his big thing in his draft year was his excitement and his X factor and his natural skill and flair. And what we saw last year was more how he works in a system and can, move around while the footy's around him. So I think we need to see that kind of gelled together because we saw him fix some deficiencies in his draft year, but it took away from what was, him naturally as a player, I think.
Yeah, spot on. I think you guys summed that up really well. I love watching him. Your eyes go to him at training. They really do. And I do love that. All right. Well, so these guys are close. It's safe to say, right? And I would like to think that we've set some standards now and we've set the tone that should any of the players in that team should any of these players in this team not be pulling their weight, there is a group of guys who are there who can come in and replace or, replace someone who's not living up to expectations, correct?
Yeah. Correct. Sardis is really close. Part of me really wants him to play quite a lot of games this year to work out what that
hurt me. Yeah, it hurt.
Yeah.
I have to admit it did
Sorry.
because he's doing no. Okay. Let's before we move on very quickly. One answer from both of you. Who is he for Sardis to play? Who doesn't play? Quick, Felix.
Probably injury or Dyson Sharp. Like you got to have a fit Darcy Parish in there.
Yeah,
Okay,
it would be Sharp. And it literally
be like for like to me.
Yeah, it depends how much weight they want to put with a run with role, or just have your midfielders just go head to head. So he's going to with him learning that run with role. It's going to be very much a strategic piece about when he wants to play the centre field move and that kind of stuff. When he wants that kind of player in there, how far advanced is he? How far developed is he? But looks good to me on the track anyway. He looks. He looks really busy, looks really active. It's the year to find out what we've got, I think, this year. And
100%.
So I still want him to play games, trust me. And I might shock people, even if it's over Sharp on sometimes at a few games, because I'm more thinking down the track. Sharp's 18 years old.
Yeah.
We need to find out what this guy's got. Before he makes bigger trades, bigger list decisions.
And look, injuries are going to happen, accidental. There are going to be opportunities, I think. I hope not, but there are. Let's be real.
Yes.
All right. Now, next, quickly, we have all picked a tasty matchup that we are looking forward to seeing, and that generally I think the competition would be looking forward to watching. I know that the competition doesn't take us seriously, and that's probably fair because we've been very mediocre for the past 20 years. But I think these matchups are ones that the competition would take seriously. So we've each picked a matchup for our lines. Scooter, you start us off. You have gone with the Arrow versus the Amon. Talk to me.
I probably would have people. If I had my time again, I probably would have gone Sicily and Guelphy, I must admit. But I kind of went Dersmer and Amon because Amon really killed us last time, and I was just trying to think of a player that may be able to negate that. And I think they'll probably try Guelphy on a Sicily. And reason why I thought Dersmer, because I think sometimes with guys like Amon, he's not a massive overhead kind of player, is sometimes you negate them by hurting them as well. And if Dersmer can shake him up overhead with his overhead prowess and kick him some early goals on him, it actually means he has to really tighten up on him, and that kind of his role changes a bit.
I reckon he's got the discipline for it.
Yeah, I think too. And he's got such attention to defensive pride that I have no problem with how he's going to handle Amon and try and shut his influence off. So I've kind of got Guelphy and Dersmer playing quite specific roles of trying to score themselves, but very much of a mind of these two guys are the two generals who could carve you up and try and negate that as much as you can.
I love it. All right, Felix, you got the Battle of the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even want to see these guys play footy. I want them to be locked in a room together and just brawl it out. That's what it is, really. These are just like kind of the same players on opposite teams, and you just want to see, who comes out on top. And even, it's not about who wins. It's fun watching players like this go at it. I think that's just really good for the game. It's not pretty. It's not fluid. It's not, attractive footy, but it's just tough and hard, kind of old school vibes. So Jai Caldwell, Jai Newcomb. Beautiful.
And of course, I've gone the Wizard and the Skipper. That actually sounds like a Harry Potter title now that I say it out loud. I don't know, the Wizard and the Skipper. But look, I think, as I said, I alluded to earlier, I think I'm also going to be, I could have put a picture of Jaden Yuen here too, because I'm just licking my lips thinking about him tackling the Wizard and how he would go about it, and the tenacity with which he plays football and the energy. Exactly, Muzz, as you say, either one of them interchanging on Ginnivan and Watson is going to be box office, I reckon.
Yeah, and there's a few reports too, just quickly, that the Wizards playing us sometimes even through the midfield a bit higher. And Andy's the kind of guy that could definitely run right up through the midfield with him and handle that fine. So it's a good matchup. Yeah,
he could go wherever. He's the one, like, he can take him and he'll go with him. He's not like a tag that a tag will drop out when the midfielder takes themselves to the forward line. He will go with him. All right. We've been here a while. I think it's that time of night. We're going loco, everyone. It is officially time. Are you ready, you guys? Now, these guys, I have not told them what word about this. So
Yeah.
it is.
I'm not ready is the answer. But hit me anyway.
I wasn't gonna ask you if you're ready because you just got to be. That's the rules. But then you get to go. You get to log out and go home and go to sleep. So
Right.
it is officially time for. This is my slide. Things that will definitely not happen, but what if they did segment.
Okay.
So this is just giving you a bit of a tasty treat potentially about what's coming. Who wants to go first? Who's the first cab off the rank?
I will go first.
Okay. Oh, all right. Here we go. You ready?
Yes.
All right. The first scenario is for you, Felix. A Liam McMahon superfan has taken Brad Scott's goldfish hostage. The only way this fish gets set free is if Liam plays in round 1. Whose spot is he taking and where is he playing, please?
This might happen. You've gone realistic.
Exactly. I thought I'd start, with high probability,
Oh, gee. Whose spot does he take? That's Kyle Langford. But I don't like
Okay.
it. Kyle Langford.
You don't like it? Okay.
Yeah, Kyle Langford.
The fish is gone.
I don't-
Shaky snake. No, this is a free from animal cruelty video. The fish must be saved. So Kyle Langford. So you've got him playing high half in the pocket.
Yeah, I do. I think I do. I can't. He's not taking Caddy's spot. It's got to be Kyle Langford. I think that makes the most sense.
Okay,
I'm not a fan, no.
But you got to save the fish. So
Yeah. Well, we got to save the fish.
Can I still lodge a protest?
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Solution? No.
No, I agree.
Solution's just typing what we were all thinking.
Yeah. I don't care about the fish.
I'm thinking the fish is going to die.
Excuse me all. Would it change if this was a dog? Would that change? Why do I feel like the fish is not getting enough respect here? A fish is a damn good pet. Okay.
God bless Wendy Hill with sock.
So, Scooter, would you have a different opinion?
No.
This is an idea. Andy says, got to be Durst, mate, and move Durst to the wing. No. And then I'm assuming that means you want to drop Jackson Pryor. Is that the thinking there?
Yeah.
I like
there's
that
no
thinking.
mobility in that forward line though. Like, I think you got to take out one of the keys. I think you need.
You got to take out someone tall.
Yeah.
Tallish. I'm going to take out Peter Wright.
Oh.
I'm going to take you out of this chat. You wash your mouth out. Jeez. Jeez, you just lost a friend. No, I'm kidding. All right, your turn, Scooter. Are you ready?
All right.
Okay, here we go.
I'm scared.
No, that was probably the worst. That was the most loco. All right, here we go. Torrential pouring rain is scheduled for the game. The AFL allows both teams to have a 6th player on the bench, but in exchange for 20 less rotations. Are you doing that? If so, which player are you adding to the bench? So currently we are gifted 75 rotations. Are you taking 55 rotations to have a 6th player on the bench because the forecast is looking dirty?
Ooh, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Because of the opposition of what they could actually bring in.
Ooh.
To actually more hurt us. We've probably got more guys on the fringe that maybe aren't as developed and seniority as what Hawthorn may have on the fringe.
I'm just laughing at Gwenda. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. The rain, the water, the fish. The fish can't come in and play a part, unfortunately. Yes. Sorry, continue, Scott.
Yeah, so I'm probably I'm probably not going to have a 6th man in the scenario that I did,
Yep.
I always find the most skillful players are best in the wet. So I'd probably actually have Zach Johnson in.
Oh, lovely. I'm so in on that plan because I desperately want to see Zach Johnson more. Hey, Felix, what was your first instinct? Yay or nay on the 6th on the bench, but you've got to give up 20 rotations.
It was also nay, and I think it probably also would be Zach Johnson, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
I think we're seeing eye to eye there.
Okay. And do explain that?
Oh, I think no, because you want the rotations. And
okay.
yeah, Hawthorn
more for the rotation. You don't want to give
Yeah, I mean, 20 rotations is a lot, and you're going to get tired in a wet game. And
Yep.
I'm just thinking of who else we got on the outer. You could even throw in like a big body, but I don't know who we got. Any big bodies? Any strong boys? Got to be some strong boys. Archer May can just go and run people over.
Yeah,
but I prefer Zach Johnson. Okay,
fair enough. All right, your turn again, Felix. Your last one for the night. Here we go. A bug sweeps through the club and takes out Kako, Redmond, and Durham. Who are you replacing them with? Each one, I need a direct replacement. If you need to do something.
I'm just forfeiting the game, to be honest.
No, don't be so defeatist. Come on.
Alrighty. Why are they all in bed together?
I mean, look, people will know something about me, right? I have never, and I say this hand on heart, not one of my reels, not one bit of my content has been created by AI, Chat GTP. I don't even know how to use that shit. Honestly, I don't. I have created everything from scratch. I'm an artist. I believe in the beauty of creating things from scratch. However, this took a lot of time to put together. So I just took myself off to Chat GPT and I just put in the information and it spat this out and I just did not have time for edits. So this is what we got. They're in bed together because they're all depressed as well. So
yeah, I reckon Kako. Unfortunately, I feel bad saying that, but it probably should be just a Jade Gresham, or could it be a Reece Unwin? I reckon a Reece Unwin. Why not? Reece Unwin.
Yeah, go the onion. I'm driving that bus.
Yep. Reece Unwin. I think that'll be a more popular choice. Mason Redman. I mean, again, you could go Zach Johnson to be. He could be my answer for everything.
Okay.
But
Fair
I
enough.
feel like I can't say Zach Johnson for everything, so I'll say give Jacob Farrow a game. Let him use the ball out of halfback.
Okay.
Sam Durham. That's sad. You don't want to sick Sam Durham. I mean, I guess Elijah Sardis. Yeah, you're right. But do you want Parrish, Sardis, and Sharp in the same midfield? Or can we just make him healthy? Can we get him back out? He doesn't need to be healthy to play.
Stop trying to bug the bug. Stop trying to defeat the system. This is what you're given.
All right. Well, I would play a 6 Sam Durham, but I can't, so I'll go with a Elijah Sardis. But I don't feel good about that.
I mean, these are not supposed to feel good.
No, you're right.
That's the point. All right, lucky last, going with a very easy one. And keep in mind that the day after I created this slide, my computer wouldn't turn on. So I did find that very fishy. No word of a lie. I have text message proof that I text messaged my friend and said my computer will not turn on. And the day before I created this slide, you put the puzzle pieces together. It is this one right here. The AFL feels sorry for us and makes Hawthorn give us one of these players for the night to play on our team. Who are you taking and who are they replacing? As you can see, one of them we had in our backyard in Massimo, Newcomb, Weddle, the Wizard, and Meek. Which one are you taking, Scott? You can only take one. Who makes us a better team instantly?
Yeah, I mean, instantly two names came to me in Weddle and the Wizard structurally, because Newcomb is Coldwell to me. So I was like, yeah, a great player. But Weddle on a wing would really excite me. I think we would, your wing would be like you'd go into a whole different feel. And Wizard next to Kako would be pretty electric. But I'd probably go Weddle on the wing to replace Pryor, and then I feel like we've got a really strong team.
That's that I made that too easy, really. Laggy. Oh, you people. Yeah. I mean, you just saying Kako with the Wizard makes me drool a little, but yeah, Weddle's a good choice. Who would you go for this one, Felix?
Exact same thing. I think you could also throw in an argument for Meek and Blackiston.
I was just about to say.
But aside from that, I think Weddle on a wing would be good, wouldn't it? Oof.
Yeah. I mean, imagine we've offered him the house, the keys, the plane. We've offered him the keys to the hangar, haven't we? But you'd think that he is staying put with Hawks. Why would you leave, really, to be honest? All right, that concludes the Loco segment. I think that's pretty much all I have for you this afternoon. We've spilled over. That time has come. The spilling over has done. She's lost her sweet mind. Guys, last words on that, on the team that we've picked.
Yeah, happy with the team. It's going to be an ever developing team. There's some serious guys that I'm excited about, and I know there's a player on my T-shirt that I'm excited about. But in all seriousness, he was our first named pick in the national draft. He was the biggest draft bolter. He tore up the finals, and I'm very excited about the more fit he gets during the year, and then hopefully towards maybe mid-year, maybe earlier. But he's still coming from way back. But there's still some really excitement to see guys develop. Contagianis gets, when they develop him, getting a bit more defensive prowess, what he can do offensively is so fun to watch. Farrow, just there's so much excitement, and so I think the VFL program, if we're healthy, will be one of the funnest VFL teams to watch, because we've recruited so well actual VFL listed guys. Yeah. So it'll be actually a really good matchup. We've got strong listed VFL guys now. If we can have strong VFL senior guys, listed guys, you're going to have hopefully it's a bit more of a year where fans see a bit more hope, a bit more can see where things are going. And then we'll see what, with the money we have, and we'll see what we can do, how we can shop around.
Yeah, I mean, and also to reiterate, I don't think I've actually said it, so to say it for the first time, we all know that it's January, the 28th. Yeah. It's 44 days to go. Things can change. Things will happen. Scooter and I talk about it all the time. There's always one player who's been under the radar-ish throughout preseason, and then come practice matches, intra-clubs, just goes woof and takes the house down pretty much. So things can change. Things are always evolving. We are so super healthy right now. I believe that is absolutely going to stay that way, but things change. So this was just a bit of a fun exercise to do, and for us to all reconnect. It's been wonderful to see lots of the regulars and some newbies hopefully here tonight. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Please make sure that you are all subscribed to this channel, of course, but also to Felix's Everything Essendon. I know you all are. And then also the Lunchtime Catchup Podcast. Like and subscribe or follow on wherever you get your podcasts. Spotify. I'm so used to saying like, subscribe, but you don't do that on podcasts. Follow, like it, share it, whatever you do on podcasts. You know the drill. I don't have to tell you. We'll probably leave it there for the night. I hope you're all doing well. I will continue to bring you updates and a lot more from training of what transpires. Again, I don't know about anybody else, other track watchers, but I'm definitely morphing into the Essendon v Essendon fatigue. I am very, very ready to stop seeing these guys play on each other. I want to see them play against not each other, other opponents, because I don't know if my mind is it's tricking itself, because I'm watching them against each other. So I want to get a better look on these guys in these positions, and that's coming soon. So I hope you're all looking forward to the start of the season. I don't know when the next one is going to be, but news is going to drop. We're always in the friggin' in the news. Although we haven't been much lately, have we, guys?
No, it's been quiet.
And I was
You're
just
always
saying
coming
in a
down
video,
with the news, Felix. Yeah.
Well, I am, but it's not much to talk about. But the one thing I'm liking is the lack of injury news. It is really good. We're not. There's been not a lot of injury news lately, so that's what I like. No news is good news.
Absolutely, and it will absolutely stay that way. I keep telling you, speak it into existence, and it shall be. All right, everybody, we might leave it there for the night. Please take care of yourselves, like, subscribe, do all of that junk, and I'll see you guys all very, very soon. Thank you to Felix, Scooter, absolute legends of the community. We are lucky to have you both. Take care of yourselves, guys.
Catch ya.
Bye, everyone.
Go Bobbers.